recording. Let's do this shit, bro. I'm horrified. I'm terrified. I don't really know how to start. What is a man of love? It's the thing that I ask myself all the time. Blank. What is a man of love? It's a question I ask myself all the time. It's sort of a meditation on how I'd like to live. It's a hard and confusing world out there. It seems to what is a man of love? It's the question I ask myself all the time. What is a man of love? It's the question to myself that I frame the world around. It seems like a very challenging world out there to understand, and I feel like I can't make any claim to understanding it. But I feel like there's eternal truths. I don't really know what they are. But I believe in them. I believe in the true. I believe in the good. I believe in the beautiful. I believe in love. And in a world where we get to choose what we stand behind and stand for, I see those as worthwhile partners in this life. I guess where I arrive at the problem is I feel every time I try to lay claim to any truth, I am very humbled. I feel like I can observe when the truth happens. And I can see that there is truth. But I feel humbled to the fact that I'm only doing my best guesses. And so my hope is that I don't live untrue. But I can't have that be my guiding light. I feel like that's an impossible task. To be the holder of the truth or anything like it. I certainly don't want it. And I feel like I've seen good. And I've gotten to experience it, and I do my best to align myself with it. But part of my problem with that is that I've tried to do good a lot in my life, and whether it's ignorance or ulterior motives that I knew I had or didn't realize I had or any of it. I feel like anytime I would lay claim to the good, you know, I find myself causing suffering around me. And maybe if not suffering, I haven't always been helpful. Even when I thought I was doing good. So, I've lived many little lives. I've always wanted to be an artist of some kind. That's not true. I feel like it called to me. I was struck by beauty, awed by it in the world. I see so much beauty out there in the world. That stuff calls to me. I've always been a softer dude. So I want to make beautiful things. I see it as a pathway to the good and the true. They all work together. Or at least I feel like they do. I know there's a lot of beliefs going around out there, but I feel like there's a lot of making claims to the truth. And humbly, I wish I could, I don't know, believe anyone that does. And yeah, I mean, I feel like people are honest with their feelings about things. But I don't know if, at least what I've learned about myself, is that I've consistently unfolded into something different, gained consciousness through my errors, been wrong a lot. I recognize a lot too, because I used to be a person that would try to use their intellect as a sword and a shield. And it meant something to win to me. Maybe I thought I'd be more accepted, or I don't know. I had a lot of insecurity. And so I hope as I strip away my own arrogance and humbly ask to be guided by the universe, that there's a pathway to a good and beautiful life. So, to that end, I've tried to make a more beautiful world out there. So, I've consistently made decisions that people definitely don't understand. I'm 38 years old. So, it's one of those funny times to have come out of high school. 9/11 was right in there. And it was a different world than I think what I read or what I heard or what I know. I got to experience some of the 90s. It was definitely a softer time. So, in wanting to make a more beautiful world, I've always been very principled. I was a young Rage Against Capitalism guy. Loved reading anarchist literature. The world didn't really make sense to me. I grew up as a very principled kid. There's a lot that I don't know. But I feel like a thing that I do know is that I have a lot of love in my heart for the world, for other people. And so, of all the eternals, all the big principles, I feel like my gateway is love. It's hard for me to see a world where there's so much anger and fear and all the stuff that we see. It's easy and out there. I think my hope is that at least as myself, I want to exist as a man of love through time. And that feels like a unfolding process over and over and over and over again. I feel like I've given myself to the Sisyphusian task of life. I am a happy Sisyphus. Every job's kind of unpleasant to me. There's a lot of unpleasant things in the world. And so through love, and living through that principle, I find it hard to see my fellow humans in a light that isn't love. And I feel like we can make rules for ourselves. And so through that path, I've stopped looking to be right. It doesn't feel important, because I'm probably wrong. And I feel like most people don't necessarily know that they're probably wrong. Love feels important to me. So I spend a lot of time So if there's anything that I feel like is an entryway for me, a doorway, it's love. I feel like if the answer, I feel like if the answer in my heart isn't love, then I'm incorrect. And I feel like it's a worthwhile thought experiment, even if I'm wrong. To spend my time trying to love the world and availing my ideas to the world and not to critique the world, to give, to generate. It's a very destructive world out there. I know there's a lot that we feel like we need to tear down and rebuild. And I understand. I mean, I can see I am let down too. But I don't think that's an uncommon feeling. And I guess there's a helplessness that is inevitable when you think about it like that. But I want to give myself in every way I can to making things better. And I don't feel like I'm smart enough or wise enough or know enough to make any large proclamations. So I do my best to serve. Serve the things the universe offers me. To serve the best in people that I can see. I don't know. As you make your way through unfolding yourself, there's just a large continuum of people that are as lost and broken as what you are. I spent a lot of time making these flowers for my wife. Our relationship hasn't been necessarily a straight and easy line. We made it through the pandemic together. Didn't hate each other. Got to raise surprise puppies. Life has offered us a lot. We're very blessed. And so when life wasn't going as I was hoping it would, I made a promise to myself and a promise to her. What's great is she didn't even realize what I was doing. But I would take these flowers and use this time to take order and bring it into chaos and back into order again. To make a generative offering to the world. And by really using this time to look at myself and legitimately ask myself in the situations I was in, whatever was emerging at the moment, what is a man of love? What would a loving man do? And it opens the door, at least for me, to look at myself and all of myself, and give myself to the process, to burn off the old parts of myself that wasn't serving the good, that wasn't aimed at life, that wasn't aimed at I feel like when I was younger, it was easy for me to slip into a spirit of negation because the world was insufficient. It made me want to point it out and express my unhappiness with it, or people's worldviews and their beliefs. I can see the cracks. But to me, that's the easy part. The easy part is to negate what's out in the world. I feel like the challenge that I want to give to myself is to have myself be a generative force. And I know that comes with I know that comes with the requisite I know that comes with the people. I know that comes with availing myself to the negation. To be proven wrong, to look stupid. And so in my heart, each one of these wire flowers built for my wife, to unfold myself, to become a better person in the world. wanted to generate something beautiful. And to me, so much of art and life and modernity, as it were, has allowed art to become a thing in which we I make these flowers as an attempt to give myself time to think of a more beautiful world. And in which way I can be a part of it. That's bad. The purpose of these flowers has always been to do my best to imbue the things I touch with depth and meaning beyond its material appearance. And so each one of these flowers has been a sort of prayer towards unfolding myself and doing my best to understand my place in a moving universe. I feel like there's something bigger at play. And so I'm doing my best to align myself to the good. To ask myself, what is a man of love? To to learn how to generate beautiful things. I don't know that any of this is particularly beautiful. But I feel like it's important that I step forward and learn. I want to learn how to communicate in the new world. I've lived out a philosophy for a long time, and an important part has been enjoying the last bastions of the non-digital world. I was a part of the last era of indie musicians that didn't really care too much about their online presence. I feel like we cared about the rooms, the people, the moment. That's what was philosophically important to me. I'll still leave it there. To make fun, artistic statements that were there for the experience, for the room, for the feeling, for the that all felt very important to me. I feel like I quit the whole aspiration for a music career, seeing where the world was headed. I didn't want to make myself a commodity. I didn't want to leave myself to the whims of the world. I'm much happier trying to serve the world than trying to figure out ways for it to serve me. But there's no denying that the world is going online. There's no denying that the internet I can't deny to myself anymore that the internet and no. Now that I know that I've enjoyed that time. Knowing where the world is. I spent a lot of time in my life with my own aims, doing my own thing, seeking my own stuff. I feel like it's important for me to meet the world where it lives. And I feel like I want to learn to communicate in the new world. So, while I'm horrified and know this is terrible, this is my first little prayer into the world. do my best to make it more beautiful, to lead with love, to try to generate, to try to give, to try to serve. There's so much I want to say. I've tried to write for years, but the writing only leads down different wells, and it's what has uncovered me through time.